All right, let's get right into it. We're going to break down this incredible social experiment that was set up to answer just one really fascinating question.
And that question is, what is the prime age of humanity? I mean, how do you even figure that out? Well, they designed this epic competition to test pretty much everything. We're talking speed, teamwork, and just pure raw willpower. So to make this happen, they got 100 different people together. And here's the crazy part. Each person represented a different age, from a 1-year-old all the way up to a 100-year-old, the whole spectrum of human life. And you better believe the stakes were high. This wasn't just for bragging rights to be called the prime age. Nope, there was $250,000 waiting for whoever was the last one standing. All right, so the first section. Things kick off with some absolutely brutal challenges. And really, they had one goal in mind, mass elimination. They needed to cut down that huge field of contestants, and they needed to do it fast. So they came at him with this sort of two-pronged attack to just thin the herd. First up was a sprint, all about raw individual speed. Only the first 5 from each decade got to move on, which cut the field in half right there. But then, they switched gears completely to a game of dodgeball, where it was all about team survival. And let me tell you, that dodgeball game was just pure chaos. It didn't take long for a super ruthless strategy to pop up. The younger teams just ganged up and went straight for the oldest competitors. No mercy whatsoever. And the result? It was immediate and pretty brutal. After just those 2 challenges, a really clear trend was already showing. This whole thing was definitely favoring youth over experience. Just like that, the search for the prime age was already limited to people under 40 years old. Okay, so with the field cut down so drastically, the game changes. We're moving on from just pure chaos to challenges that are a lot more complex. Now it's all about coordination, strategy, and some very specific skills. Yeah, check this out. The dunk tank relay. This thing was a wild, multi-stage race. The youngest competitors actually got to pick the teams, and everything depended on how well each person did their one job. You had archery for precision, swimming for endurance, and then, at the very end, you had to build a ladder under all that pressure. Insane. I mean, just look at how fast people are getting cut. The pace of elimination is just staggering. We started with 100 people, and in what feels like no time at all, we're down to just 12. That just goes to show you how intense and difficult these challenges were getting. So, next up, the pressure completely changes. It's not about the team anymore. It's all about individual nerve. The last contestants have to go head-to-head in a 1v1 penalty kick shootout. And get this. The youngest person gets to pick their opponent. That's a huge strategic advantage. Okay, this next part, this is where it really becomes a test of pure grit. All the team support, all the complex rules, that's all gone. Now it's just about the raw physical and emotional limits of the handful of people left. And those penalty kicks, man, they led to some really emotional moments. The 17-year-old who had kind of become a protector for the younger kids, he got eliminated. It left his little 7-year-old friend in tears, but it also made him that much more determined to win it for him. So the last challenge before the big finale was so simple, but so grueling. It was all about willpower. They just had to hold onto a rope that was attached to a mannequin, and every 5 minutes, more weight was added. The only rule? Don't let go. It was just a question of who could stand the pain the longest. And this is where we get one of the most shocking moments of the entire competition. The 7-year-old, this little kid weighing almost nothing, he outlasts multiple grown men. Just pure grit and determination. It was incredible, and it locked in his spot for the final showdown. So after all that chaos, all the teamwork, all the tests of will, it all comes down to this. We've got 2 people left, a massive stadium watching, and that $250,000 prize just waiting. And the 2 finalists, you couldn't have picked 2 more different people. You have the 28-year-old, who's the picture of focus and determination, but he's getting booed by the crowd because he's up against a kid. And then you have the 7-year-old, the ultimate underdog that everyone is cheering for, and he's just confidently saying, "I'm winning this money." So the finale is this mix of skill and just pure luck. The 28-year-old wins a shootout, which gives him the first pick of 10 briefcases. He goes with his lucky number 7, opens it up, and it's an X. The game's not over yet. So he wins the shootout again. He gets another shot,
This time, he takes a suggestion from a kid in the crowd and picks briefcase number 3. He opens it, and it's another X. Oh man, you could just feel the tension building. Okay, so after 2 misses, the pressure is just immense. He wins the shootout for a 3rd time, walks up to the briefcases, and this time he picks number 5. He opens it, and there it is. The check for $250,000. So there you have it. After this absolutely grueling competition that started with 100 people from every single age, we finally have a champion.
Age 28 came out on top. He really proved that in this particular set of challenges, his mix of speed, strength, and nerve made him the best. And what was he going to do with the money? A pretty noble goal: pay off his wife's student loans.
But you can't forget about the runner-up. While he didn't get the grand prize, the 7-year-old's amazing performance was definitely rewarded. For beating 98 other people, most of them way older and stronger, he got a check for $10,000. Not bad at all. So, in the end, the experiment crowned a winner. Age 28 was the champ, at least for this competition. But it kind of leaves you with this final question, right? Did this really give us the definitive answer about humanity's prime age? Or was it just the wild outcome of one amazing game?